Tottenham are 2 games away from Wembley and reaching their first cup final since 2021, the one we lost against Manchester City, making this first leg against Liverpool their biggest game of the season. Before I get into things, I just want to say a massive thank you for the support on the last video I put out, that sort of introduction to Tottenham's new goalkeeper signing, Antonin Kinsky. It has absolutely blown up, and I know a lot of new people have joined the channel having watched that, so welcome and thank you so much. Your support means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos that I'm putting out this month and in the future. And yeah, hopefully they're mostly positive ones about Tottenham, because we haven't had too much to be positive about this season. With this Carabao Cup semi-final, there is renewed hope, there is renewed energy, and you have to go into it with a positive mindset. So that's what I want to do in this preview. Now, we all know that Spurs haven't won a trophy since 2008. It's been far, far too long, and we don't get many tougher tests than this two-legged tie against Liverpool. This is not going to be easy. We are weak at the moment. We're missing so many key players across the squad. We are starting to get a few back, but probably not enough to be able to deal with and cope with a full strength Liverpool side who are sitting top of the Premier League, who are looking to win silverware in Arne Slot's first campaign as head coach. And to make things even worse for us at the moment, our home record is really not great. I don't think we've won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium since the first week of November, which is absolutely incredible considering how much of a fortress the old White Hart Lane used to be. I think under Antonio Conte our home record was really excellent as well. However, anything can happen in cup games. With cup games, things go out the window, especially when you're down to the final 4. We know that. We know that if we turn up, we can give Liverpool a good game, and we should be motivated and take confidence from that 2-2 draw they had against Manchester United at the weekend. It shows that they can be vulnerable. They can be perhaps attacked, albeit maybe more of a counter-attacking approach, which remains to be seen whether Ange Postecoglou will take that approach for these semi-final games. We are depleted. He has changed things in the last few weeks because of the players that we are missing, and he's definitely going to have to adapt his tactics to the 6-3 loss that we had a few weeks ago against Liverpool. We cannot let that happen again, especially over a two-legged tie. Liverpool have not lost a game in 24 since that Nottingham Forest defeat earlier in the season. They're sitting pretty at the top of the table, top of the Champions League table as well. Semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, you back them to do well. In the FA Cup as well, they're firing on all fronts. We know that Mohamed Salah is absolutely on fire this season, as are a few other players as well. So it's going to be imperative that a few things go our way in this first leg. One of those is going to be the crowd in the stadium. You know, it's been very difficult to get behind the team in recent weeks because of how bad the football has maybe been, because of the struggles we've had, because of how many games we've been losing. With a cup semi-final, it is so important that you get behind the team from the very off, and we have to make the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as intimidating and difficult to play in as possible for Liverpool. All of these things make a difference. Think about that Champions League game Liverpool played against Barcelona at Anfield, 2019, the year we got to the final. That massive comeback they had in front of their home fans in their home stadium. We need the place to be rocking like that. I've seen all sorts of stuff on social media suggesting and actually showing proof that there are still so many tickets up for sale on the exchange. Lots of people not taking it up despite it being a semi-final, despite the cost being capped at £37. For a semi-final, I actually think that's pretty good value, but it just shows the mood of discontent around the club at the moment. However, those that are going, I will be there myself. You need to be singing from the very off. You need to be right behind the team, and you need to be with them for the entire 90 minutes. Put everything else aside for these semi-final games. If you're not with the manager, put that aside. If you don't like some of the players, put that aside. If you're Daniel Levy out, absolutely fine, but put it aside. Another thing I would mention that is key to getting off on a strong foot in this game is not conceding early. We went 1-0 up against Newcastle at the weekend, and then we conceded straight after that, and the atmosphere sort of just went really flat. Things died down a lot. We weren't necessarily on the attack as much. We weren't in the ascendancy. So if Tottenham can grab an early goal against this Liverpool side, it will set us up really well. But I am more concerned about the defensive side of our game. Naturally, I think that has been more of the problem this season, especially missing Christian Romero, missing Mickey van der Ven as well. So not conceding early, it might sound really obvious, but it's going to be really key. We have to not lose this game. We have to not lose the game at home. If we can carve out somehow a 2-goal advantage in this first leg, it gives us the best chance of going to Anfield in the first week of February. So it's about a month after the first leg that we'll play the second. And hopefully by then we'll have our two centre-backs back. We'll have a stronger core, a stronger team. We'll have all of our January signings and we can really, really just go for it. I think this is stating the obvious as well. No matter how many things I talk about, all of the stats, all of the important points that I've mentioned already, hopefully Liverpool don't play their full-strength starting 11. I'm looking at you, Mo Salah. He has played pretty much every game for Liverpool so far, and I'm hoping Arne Slot rests him for this first leg at least. Look, if we go to Anfield with a lead, I think we have to accept that Liverpool are going to play a stronger team against us to try and turn the fixture around and get to Wembley, get to that final. They love the Carabao Cup. They've won it a lot of times in recent years. However, I'm hoping, and maybe it's just me being naive, that Arne Slot is going to play a few of the fringe players and a few of the squad rotation players from the off and give the likes of Mohamed Salah a rest, give the likes of maybe Luis Diaz a rest, Virgil van Dijk, maybe. We will see. I know it's not guaranteed and maybe it's wishful thinking considering it is a cup semi-final. I want this so bad. I don't know about you guys, so I'm trying to think of all the possible ways that we can get ourselves on the front foot and ahead. Now, our head-to-head record against Liverpool is really, really poor. It is very hard reading, having done some research on it before this. Of the last sort of few games, we've only beaten them once since 2017, which is very daunting. Naturally, it was that game against them in September of 2023 where they got that goal disallowed through Luis Diaz that shouldn't have been disallowed, and then Matip scored that own goal. That was the last time we've beaten them since 2017, 7 years ago. So we know we're up against it. Of the overall head-to-head record, Liverpool have won 18 times in this fixtures. Spurs have only won 6 and 8 of them have ended in draws. There would be no better time to turn that record around and get a few more wins in our column than these next 2 games against them. I would forfeit the league game at Anfield if it meant we go through in this cup semi-final. I think everybody would agree with that. Going to Anfield twice over the next couple of months, it doesn't get much harder. There's no bigger tests for Ange Postecoglou at the moment. And as I said, everything goes out of the window for the cup games. Spurs haven't kept a clean sheet in 5 games, so maybe, again, it's wishful thinking for hoping that we're going to be able to keep Liverpool out. I think they are the top scorers in the Premier League, or second top goal scorers in the Premier League. They also have one of the best defensive records. I don't need to explain it anymore. We know how good they are. But as a Tottenham fan, I have to be full of hope. I'm so desperate for a piece of silverware that I simply cannot go in to this tie without having a positive mindset, positive mentality, and thinking that we are going to win. I feel like that should be everyone's attitude towards the game. You know, I put a few tweets out over the last few days and people saying, we got no chance, we're going out. Come on, stop thinking like that. We need to be positive. We need to get behind the team. We can't accept defeat before a ball's even been kicked. Without further ado, this is how I would line up for the game. Now, I don't know what Liverpool's lineup's going to be, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. Like I said, I'm hoping they rest a few of their key players. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk. If those 3 were on the bench, that would make me a very, very happy man. But for Tottenham, I would go something like this. I would hand Antonin Kinsky his first start for the club since joining. His work permit was received yesterday and he trained with the team on Monday, meaning that he is in line to start the game on Wednesday, which would be an excellent and very difficult task for him for his first game. So I would go with that in goal. Brandon Austin did very well against Newcastle, but you want your best players playing for this game. Ed Spence starts at left back for me again, with Destiny Udogie out, and then at centre back I don't think we have too many other options than Archie Gray and Radu Dragusin, while we're still missing Mickey van der Ven, still missing Christian Romero. I think Ben Davies is on his way back but not quite there yet, and then Pedro Porro can fill in at right back for me. Now, James Maddison and Pat Matasar are both suspended for this game, so we will be without them, which is why I've left them out of the starting lineup. I would go with Yves Bissouma and Rodrigo Bentancur in that pivot. Ahead of them, I would go with Dejan Kulusevski in the creative attacking role without James Maddison for this game. On the left, it has to be Heung-min Son. On the right, I think it has to be Brennan Johnson, Dominic Solanke up top. So aside from the defence, it's a pretty strong sort of midfield and forward line. Mikey Moore returned to training and Richarlison both returned to training in the week, so we may see them on the bench as well. The key battles are, of course, going to be their attack versus our defence, particularly their wingers, depending on who they line up with. They have so many options. Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Nunez, all of them are a threat in their own right. So Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, they're going to be the keys. They need to not get caught forward so often, because that was the case in the 6-3 loss against them. the other week, and we just got caught on the break so many times. So we need to prevent that from happening. And of course, their midfield is excellent. The likes of Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, whoever else it may be, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, all very good players. So Basuma, Bentancur, you're going to have the time of your lives at that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Wednesday if we are going to get something. Solanke scored a brilliant goal against Newcastle at the weekend, so he should be feeling full of confidence. Heung-min Son, I need you. You haven't had your best season, Sonny, my captain, but I need you to step up for these next 2 games in the Cup. I need you to lead, I need you to perform, and I need you to be that difference maker that we know you can be, but we just haven't seen enough this season. It's going to be a really exciting game, and it's not going to be easy. It's better to have hope than to accept defeat straight away. That's my view, and that's why I'm trying to make this preview so positive. It's a lot to ask of this depleted team, especially against the best team in Europe right now, but nothing is impossible. We've seen it already this season that Tottenham, when they're at their best, when they turn up, they can compete with absolutely anybody. So I'm hoping Ange gets them really motivated before the game, kicks a rocket out their backside, we come out flying and we win this first leg. All we need to focus on is getting ahead in the tie, and then we'll worry about the second leg in February. Take it one step at a time, and let's see what we can do. So that is my preview for the Liverpool game. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments how you think the game is going to go. What are you expecting? Can Tottenham actually do this? Can we make it to Wembley? 2 games away, 3 games away from our first piece of silverware in a long time. I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling optimistic. I will be back on the channel over the next few days or so with reaction pieces, with transfer pieces. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, come on you Spurs.